All praises to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and peace to everyone joining us on this program. Once again, this is the Fountain of Israel's Bible Studies program, and it is an honor, an absolute pleasure for me to stand before you on the Lord's Sabbath day. Now, today we're going to go a little bit deeper into the Scriptures. We're going to go into Torah, and we're going to deal with another subject that is found in the Old Testament. Because remember, we teach from the whole Bible, okay? It doesn't matter to us. So we're going to go to Leviticus 15, and the title of our lesson today is called Cleanliness, Spiritual and Physical. Okay, so we're going to go deeper into Torah. We want to learn more and more of what thus says the Lord. And we're going to go ahead and get an understanding of cleanliness, spiritual and physical. So let's take a look at that. And where we're going to start is in Leviticus 15. And we're going to read the whole chapter of Leviticus 15, is where we find a lot of the cleanliness law. And let's take a look at this. Now, again, we're talking about whether it's unclean with bodily discharges, sexual, any of these things that we're going to take a look at. Okay, we're not going to focus too much on like unclean foods, but we know that's part of it. Okay, that we know that that's how we defile ourselves, defile our bodies on the inside. But we're going to look at some of that ceremonial cleanses. We're going to look at both cleanliness, physical and spiritual. Leviticus 15, let's pick it up at verse 1, brother. And when you get there, let the Bible speak.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying,
Yes, sir.
Speaking to the children of Israel,
Mm-hmm.
and say unto them,
Mm-hmm.
When any man hath a running issue out of his flesh,
Mm-hmm.
because of his issue he is unclean.
Okay, so any type of discharge out of his flesh, someone can have a wound and there's pus or is bleeding, any kind of discharge out of his body, he's unclean. Continue, brother.
And this shall be his uncleanness in his issue,
Uh-huh.
whether his flesh run with his issue,
Yep.
or his flesh be stopped from his issue.
Mm-hmm.
It is uncleanness.
It is uncleanness, okay? He is actually, now this is physical. This is actual uncleanness, okay? Go ahead, brother.
Every bed wherein he lieth that hath that issue
Mm-hmm.
is unclean,
Mm-hmm.
and everything wherein he sitteth
Mhm.
shall be unclean.
Yep.
And whosoever toucheth his bed
Mhm.
shall wash his clothes,
Mhm.
and bathe himself in water,
Yes.
and be unclean until the even.
Okay, until the evening of the next day. Now this, he's trying to control something that could be contagious or infectious. Okay, that's what he's trying to control. Trying to keep the spreading of a disease. Okay, that's what we're trying to contain here. This is an actual uncleanness. Go ahead, brother.
And he that sitteth on anything wherein he sat,
Mhm.
that hath the issue, shall wash his clothes,
Mhm.
and bathe himself in water,
Mhm.
and be unclean until the even.
Okay, you're unclean until the next day, until evening. Okay, the evening of the next day, you're unclean. Okay, verse 7, brother.
And he that toucheth the flesh of him that hath the issue shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water,
Yes, sir.
and be unclean until the even.
Yes, sir. Pretty clear there. Go ahead, brother.
And if he that hath the issue spit upon him that is clean,
Mm-hmm.
then he shall wash his clothes and
Mhm.
bathe himself in water,
Mhm.
and be unclean until the even.
Now, did you guys notice when he said, now, if he that has an issue spit upon him that is clean? So if a person who has an issue, someone who is unclean, spit on someone who is clean, that person is also unclean as well. You notice that, right?
Mhm.
That person is unclean as well. So he needs to bathe himself in water and be unclean until evening. Go ahead, brother. Verse 9.
And what saddle soever he rideth upon that
Mhm.
hath the issue shall be unclean.
Basically, anything he touches is unclean. If an unclean person touches something else that is clean, he makes it unclean. He pretty much defiles it. Go ahead.
And whosoever touches anything that was under him
Mhm.
shall be unclean until the even.
Yes.
And he that beareth any of those things shall wash his clothes,
Mhm.
and bathe himself in water,
Mhm.
and be unclean until the even.
Yes, sir.
And whomsoever he toucheth that the issue that hath not rinsed his hands in water,
Mhm.
he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water,
Mhm.
and be unclean until the
So the
even.
Bible is being very, very clear on what unclean is. You have some sort of issue of the body, some sort of discharge. You are unclean until you bathe yourself in water and not touch other things. When the bed that you're sitting on, the chair that you're sitting on, if you touch someone else or spit on them, that way they will contract whatever you have. They're unclean, and you see the saddle that you sit on, everything's become unclean if you are considered unclean. Okay, go ahead, brother.
And the vessel of earth that he toucheth with the issue shall be broken. Every vessel of wood shall be rinsed in water.
Yes.
And when he that hath an issue is cleansed of his issue, then he shall number to himself 7 days for his cleansing, and wash his clothes, and be bathed his flesh in running water, and shall be clean.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
And on the 8th day he shall take him 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, and come before the Lord unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and give them unto the priest.
And he's going to give it unto the priest. Okay, so this is a protocol. This is how they normally did things. Now, we understand that the Levitical priesthood is no more right now. We understand that, but we just want to get an understanding of how they did it while the Levitical priesthood was set up, right? So let's take a look. Go ahead, brother.
And the priest shall offer them, the one for the sin offering, and the other for the burnt offering.
Yes.
And the priest shall make an atonement for him before the Lord for his issue.
Okay, so the priest is the one going to make an atonement, okay? Now, what you have to understand is that we see a shadow, okay? We see a shadow of what the Messiah is doing for us now. Okay, this is a shadow of what's going on. The priest, he's going before the Lord. The Son is going before the Father with our issues. Okay, now we're talking about our sin and things like that because we can be spiritually unclean. Okay, so he's cleansing us from that, and we'll see that later on in the script. He's cleansing us from that before he goes before the Father. That's how we are atoning. Now, you see this word atone. Okay, so we know the Messiah atoned for our sin. Okay, all this foreshadows everything that happened in the New Testament. Okay, so go ahead, 16.
And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him,
okay,
then he shall wash all his flesh in water,
okay,
and be unclean until the even.
Okay, so when you and your mate engage in coitus, what you do there is you wash yourself in water. You're supposed to wash yourself and be unclean till the next day, until evening. Okay, so that's what the seed of copulation is. 17.
And every garment and every skin wherein he used to be copulation shall be washed with water, and be unclean until the even.
Okay, so you clean up yourself. Okay, both of you guys, you clean yourself up, and you clean up everywhere you work. Okay, so you wash, your bed sheets and all that stuff. Okay, go ahead.
The woman also, with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water, and be unclean until even.
See, that's what we're talking about, you see? So both parties bathe yourself in water, and you're unclean until the next day. Okay? Go ahead, brother.
And if a woman have an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood,
okay, the issue of blood, go ahead.
She shall be put apart 7 days.
Okay.
And whosoever touch her shall be unclean until the even.
Okay, so now, like if the female, if the wife, for instance, if she's menstruating, then she's unclean for 7 days. Okay, go ahead.
And everything that she lieth upon in her separation shall be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean.
Right, so some couples, I know some couples, when the wife is cycling, sometimes she'll probably sleep in another room, or she'll sleep on the couch, or the husband will sleep on the couch, or whatever. They go as far as to just separate for that time period or whatever, and they go from there. Okay, you can do that. That's up to you, but you separate yourself because she is unclean, and everything she sit upon, it's kind of hard because hey, she sits on the couch at home, she's on the chair at home, she's at the dining table, and all that stuff. I get it. Okay, I get it. But we're just going by what the Bible says, okay? We're just sticking to what it says, so no one can accuse me of saying, well, I'm making up some other stuff, okay? I'm just saying what the Bible says. And everything that she's lied upon in her separation during that period of time shall be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean, okay? And did you read 21, brother?
Nope.
Go ahead.
And whosoever toucheth her, bed shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even.
Okay, and whoever so touches her will be unclean until the evening. He got to wash his clothes and bathe himself in water. 22.
And whosoever toucheth anything that she sat upon shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even.
Go ahead, brother.
And if it be on her bed, or anything wherein she sitteth, when he toucheth it, he shall be unclean until the even.
And we're gonna show you the spiritual significance of all of this as well, okay? Remember, God shows us something practical, okay? It's very basic. The whole Karate Kid thing, wax on, wax off. You may not understand it right now, but you'll understand it later, and you'll get a better understanding as we go through this lesson. Go ahead, brother.
And if any man lie with her at all, and her flowers be upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days. And all the bed wherein he lieth shall be unclean.
Okay, so if he lie with her during this period of time, he's going to be considered unclean as well. That's what the Bible says. Go ahead.
And if a woman have an issue of her blood, many days out of the time of her separation, or if it run beyond the time of her separation, all the days of the issue of her uncleanness shall be as the days of her separation. She shall be unclean.
Okay, so some women might say, well, you know, my cycle usually lasts like 5 days, but if it lasts 7 or 8 days, then you're still unclean for all the days that it lasts. Is that clear? So all the days as it lasts is just as normal, okay? And I'm just using that as an example of uncleanness. But go ahead.
Every bed wherein she lieth all the days of her issues shall be unto her as the bed of her separation. And whosoever she sitteth upon shall be unclean, as the uncleanness of her separation.
Yes, sir.
And whosoever toucheth those things shall be unclean, and shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. But if she is cleansed of her issue, then shall number herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
And on the 8th day she shall take unto her 2 turtles, or 2 young pigeons, and bring them unto the priest, to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Then what?
And the priest shall offer one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for her before the Lord for the issue of her uncleanness.
Okay, so this is pretty important to the Lord. You know, this is what they did at that time because it has a bigger meaning. Okay, this is physical and spiritual uncleanness. Okay, but we're really dealing with the physical part of it. Okay, so go ahead, 31.
10:4, and those turtles are talking about doves.
Yes, sir. Those turtle doves. Yes, sir. That's what that is. Go ahead.
Thus shall ye separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness.
Yes.
And that they die not in their uncleanness.
This is why you need to die not in your uncleanness. You take care of your business, you get cleaned up, and you repeat the cycle. Okay? You just don't just get lazy and die in your uncleanness. What? What else?
When they defile my tabernacle, that is among them.
Right. So another thing that they had to do when they went before that tabernacle, you had to be clean. Okay, you didn't go playing around and did what you wanted to do and then go run up to the priest and say, okay, well, no, you need to prepare yourself. Okay, clean yourself up, get yourself together, and then get your sins atoned for. Okay, go ahead, brother.
This is the law of him that hath an issue.
This is the law, right? So there is a cleanliness law, right? Okay, this is the law of him that has an issue. Go ahead.
And of him whose seed goeth from him.
Yes.
And is defiled therewith.
Yes, that's exactly what's going on. Go ahead, brother.
And of her that is sick of her flowers, and of him that hath an issue.
Yes.
Of the man and of the woman, and of him that lieth with her that is unclean.
So he just said this is the law of him, okay, and he's dealing with the woman too, okay, and then he said that this is what it means to be unclean. This is the physical uncleanness, okay. So let's go on over to Numbers. The very next book. Let's go to Numbers. Okay, very next book. So we're going to go to Numbers chapter 8. Okay. Numbers chapter 8. And let's take a look at this. Okay, we're dealing with the cleanliness law. Numbers chapter 8. And let's pick it up at verse 5. Okay, we got a lot of ground to cover. Numbers 8, verse 5, brother. When you get there, let the Bible speak.
And Lord spake unto Moses, saying,
Yes, sir.
Take the Levites from among the children of Israel, and cleanse them.
Now, we know we're talking about the Levites, okay, but it's still dealing with cleanliness. Go ahead.
And thus shalt thou do unto them, to cleanse them.
Yes.
Sprinkle water of purifying upon them, and let them shave all their flesh, and let them wash their clothes, so make themselves clean.
They have to clean themselves up. Go ahead, brother.
Then let them take a young bullock with his meat offering, even fine flour mingled with oil, and another young bullock shalt thou take for sin offering.
So we're still doing different things. We see different animals and all that, but it's for the same reason. For a sin offering, for a burnt offering, we see the same. The reason is the same.
And they're all clean.
It's all clean animals. If you know, as a matter of fact, they need to pay attention to that. These animals that are being used, remember the 7 clean type of animals that went on Noah's Ark? It's for this purpose right here. Okay? You're not going to see them sacrifice an unclean animal. They're not going to sacrifice a snake or a pig or anything like that. Nothing abominable are they going to sacrifice. Okay? Go ahead, brother.
And thou shalt bring the Levites before the tabernacle of the congregation.
Yep.
And thou shalt gather the whole assembly of the children of Israel together.
And what else?
And thou shalt bring the Levites before the Lord. And the children of Israel shall be put their hands upon the Levites.
Okay, so it's okay to stretch out your hands, and you're playing for, you know, the priests in this case, the Levites and stuff. Okay, so when you see that in church, that's fine. Go ahead.
And Aaron shall offer the Levites before the Lord for an offering of the children of Israel,
Yes.
that they may execute the services of the Lord.
So now you know they got separated and cleansed for the specific duty of being a priest of the Lord, the priest unto the rest of the children of Israel, to the rest of the tribes of Israel. See, Israel as a nation is a priest, is a priestly nation, or supposed to be a priestly nation, teaching everybody else. But the Levites was specifically the priest for Israel. Okay, so that's the protocol.
Mm-hmm.
The Levites were the priests for Israel and Israelites. Okay, they were not priests for everybody else.
Nope.
Okay, but the other 11 tribes were priests for everybody else.
Yep.
Okay, it's just a protocol. It's just order. That's all it is. Go ahead.
And the Levites shall lay their hands upon the head of the bullocks.
Yep.
And thou shalt offer one for a sin offering.
Yep.
And the other for a burnt offering.
Yes, sir.
Unto the Lord to make an atonement for the Levites.
Okay, so the Levites are getting physically clean and spiritually clean when they start offering those sacrifice. Physically clean and spiritually clean. Okay, go ahead, brother. Because it's atonement. It's supposed to pay for your sins. Okay, supposed to cleanse you. Go ahead, brother.
And thou shalt set the Levites before Aaron and before his sons, and offer for them an offering unto the Lord.
Go ahead, brother.
Thus shalt thou separate the Levites from among the children of Israel.
Yep.
And the Levites shall be mine.
So the Levites got a special job, right? That's what we read. You're going to separate the Levites. All right? That's what he said. Thus shalt thou separate the Levites from among the children of Israel. Now, Levites are part of the children of Israel, right? But I'm going to separate them. I'm going to sanctify them. I'm going to set them apart for the services of the Lord. And the Levites shall be mine. 15, brother.
And after all that shall the Levites go into the service of the tabernacle of the congregation.
And what?
And thou shalt cleanse them, and offer them for an offering.
Drop down to 21, brother. 21.
And the Levites were purified.
Yes.
And they washed their clothes. And Aaron offered them as an offering for the Lord. And Aaron made an atonement for them to cleanse them.
Exactly. So are we getting a little bit of understanding what's going on? They were separated, set apart. They were cleansed. They were purified, for the services of the Lord. Okay? So we're still in Numbers. But let's go to Numbers 18. Go to chapter 18. Okay? Let's take a look at that. So we just saw the Levites get separated and sanctified and set apart. Okay? So now let's take a look at their job. Go to Numbers 18. And when you get to verse 1, brother, go ahead and let the Bible speak. Numbers 18 and verse 1. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Aaron, Thou and thy sons and thy father's house with these shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary.
Yes, sir.
And thou thy sons with these shall bear the iniquity of your priesthood.
Yes, sir.
And thy brethren also of the tribe of Levi, the tribe of thy father,
Yes, sir.
bring thou with thee, that they may be joined unto thee, and minister unto thee. But thou and thy sons with thee shall minister before the tabernacle of witness.
Okay, so this is them getting set up for their duties. Okay, this is the duties of the Levites. Okay, and he's just setting it up right now. Go ahead, brother.
And they shall keep thy charge, and the charge of the tabernacle.
This is their job. Go ahead.
Only they shall not come nigh to the vessels of the sanctuary and the altar, and neither they nor ye also die.
That's right. So when you go to the innermost, you will die. You can't do that. Go ahead, brother.
And they shall be joined unto thee, and keep charge of the tabernacle of the congregation, for all the services of the tabernacle, and the stranger should not come nigh unto you.
Not even the strangers. Okay, this is set up in specific order. That's why when you read, you read the Israelites. They went to the door of the tabernacle, gave it to the priest because they couldn't go inside. You couldn't do that, even though they still had to clean themselves up and get ready. They still didn't go in there and just wander around all they want. You couldn't do that, okay? Lest you die. You can't do that. Go ahead, brother.
And ye shall keep charge of the sanctuary, and the charge of the altar, that there be no wrath any more upon the children of Israel.
Okay, so you keep the charge and there won't be any wrath on you. Go ahead.
And die. behold, have taken your brethren the Levites from among the children of Israel.
I picked the Levites from among the children of Israel. Okay, go ahead.
To you they are given as a gift for the Lord.
Yes.
To do the service of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Okay, see, I'm giving them back to you. They're going to be they're going to be high priests to you. They're going to work for me, and I'm going to give them back to you as a gift, as a service unto the congregation. Okay, in the service of the Lord. Go ahead, brother.
And therefore thou and thy sons with thou shalt keep your priest office for everything of the altar.
Yep.
And within the veil.
And within the veil,
ye shall serve.
Yes.
I have given your priest office unto you as a service of gift.
That's right. I'm giving you this priestly office. Okay, I'm setting up the Levites to take care of the business of the tabernacles and to take care of the congregation. Go ahead.
And the stranger that cometh nigh shall be put to death.
Yeah, so if a stranger, a non-Levite, cannot come near this altar, cannot come within this tabernacle, can't do it. It's for Levites only. Okay, go ahead.
And the Lord spake unto Aaron, Behold, I have given thee the charge of mine heave offering.
Yep.
Of all the hallowed things of the children of Israel.
Yep.
Unto thee have I given them by reason of the anointing.
I anointed them. That's why I gave it to them. Go ahead.
And to thy sons by ordinance forever.
It's the Levitical priesthood, brothers and sisters. Go ahead, brother.
This shall be thine in the most holy things,
Yep.
reserved for the fire, every oblation of theirs,
Yep.
every meat offering of theirs,
Yep.
every sin offering of theirs, and every trespass offering of theirs, which they shall render unto me,
Yep.
shall be most holy for thee, for thy sons.
See, this is all the type of offerings and stuff that they're going to do, and it's going to be most holy for thee and for thy sons. This is their job, and it's very important. It was very important at the time, okay? So we're going to take a look at this. Go ahead, verse 10.
In the most holy place shalt thou eat it.
Yep.
Every male shall eat it. It shall be holy unto thee.
Go ahead, brother.
And this is thine the heave of the offering of their gift.
Yes.
Which are the wave offering of the children of Israel.
Yes.
I have given unto them thee and thy sons to the daughters with thee by statute forever.
Yes.
Every one that is clean in thy house shall eat of it.
Everyone who is clean in thy house shall eat of it. Go ahead.
And all the beasts of the oil, best of the oil, and all the best of the wine, and of the wheat, and the first fruits of them, which they shall offer unto the Lord.
Yep.
Them I have given thee.
Yes, sir. All the first fruit, everything that comes in, like when we tithe, okay? We teach about the tithe too. And when we tithe, where did the tithe go to? To the Levites, because that's their inheritance.
Yep.
They got this job and this office. We just were reading their whole job, okay? Their job is to do the service of the congregation. They have to atone for their sins. They have to atone for the sins of Israel. So you got to remember, as a nation of Israel start to grow, that was pretty much a full-time job. They're coming in there, hey, I messed up. Here's a goat. Here's a turtle dove. Make me clean, okay? That was a full-time job, all right? So that's what they had to do, all right? So them getting the tithes and all that was that because they didn't get land. Why? Because there was some Levites over in this tribe, Levites in that tribe, Levites in that tribe, because they didn't offer land. You go look at when the Lord divided up the land with Moses and Joshua and so on and so forth, the Levites didn't get any land.
Nope.
Because they got this office. They got this job. Go ahead, brother.
And whatsoever is first ripe in the land, which they shall bring unto thee, the Lord, shall be thine.
Whatever the congregation bring you, it'll be yours. Go ahead.
Everyone that is clean in thy house shall eat of it.
Everyone who is clean shall eat of it. Okay? Now, everything, and just read 14 and we'll move on.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. It's okay. Well, I can read it. Go ahead and go to Leviticus 7:19.
Okay.
But he said, everything devoted in Israel shall be thine. Okay? All that devoted, everything that they bring, the first fruits and the grains and everything, it shall be the Levite. So we're going to go to Leviticus 7, and we're going to read one verse, 7 and 19. Okay, just one book back. Leviticus 7, and we're going to read verse 19. Okay, go ahead, brother.
And the flesh that toucheth any unclean thing shall not be eaten.
Yep.
If it shall be burnt with fire, and as for the flesh, all that be clean shall eat thereof.
Yeah, only the clean stuff. Okay, it says, and the flesh that touches any unclean thing shall not be eaten. Okay, so we can't deal with that. We're gonna go back to we're in Leviticus. We're gonna go to Numbers 5 in just a second, but we're in Leviticus. Go to Leviticus 12, since we're already there. Leviticus 12. You there, brother?
Mm-hmm.
Then let the Bible speak.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying,
Mm-hmm.
speaking to the children of Israel, saying,
Mm-hmm.
if a woman have conceived seed,
Yes.
and born a man child,
Now, this is when a woman gives birth to a male. Okay? Go ahead.
then she shall be unclean 7 days,
Mhm.
according to the days of the separation of her infirmity shall she be unclean.
Okay, so she gave birth to a male child, and then she does what?
And in the 8th day of the flesh of his foreskin
Mhm.
shall be
That's
circumcised.
pretty clear, isn't it?
Very clear.
Pretty clear. Okay, there's really, I don't know how that's a debate, but it's pretty clear. Go ahead.
And she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 30 days.
Yes.
And she shall touch no hollow thing,
Mm-hmm.
nor come into the sanctuary,
Mhm.
until the days of her purifying be fulfilled.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
But if she bear a maid child,
Mm-hmm.
then she shall be unclean 2 weeks.
Okay, so if she bear a little boy, she's unclean for a week. If she bears a little girl, she's unclean for 2 weeks. That's pretty clear, right?
Mhm.
Go ahead.
As in her separation, she
Mhm.
shall continue in the blood of her purifying 66 days.
Go ahead, brother.
And when the days of her purifying are fulfilled,
Mhm.
for a son or for a daughter,
Mhm.
she shall bring a lamb of the first year for the burnt offering,
Yep.
and a young pigeon
Mhm.
or a turtle dove for a sin offering
Mhm.
unto the door of the tabernacle
Unto the
of
door
the congregation.
The door of the tabernacle. Now, did she go wandering all in the tabernacle all willy-nilly? No. She went to the door of the tabernacle, and she did, and gave it unto who?
The congregation
And what?
unto the priest,
Unto the priest. Okay, go ahead, brother. 7.
who shall offer it before the Lord,
Mhm.
and make an atonement for her.
Mm-hmm.
And she shall be cleansed from the issue of her blood.
Yep.
This is the law of her that hath borne a male or female.
This is the law. So this is not something we making up. It says right there. This is the law for her that has born a male or a female. We just read a law, right?
Mhm.
He said that. He said that's what it is. Okay. Go ahead and read verse 8 for me, brother. Go ahead.
And if she be not able to bring a lamb,
Okay, because see, when they do this, this costs something. That's why we
Yep.
had animal sacrifice in the first place.
Yep.
Okay, because it has to cost you something. Your livestock, that's your livelihood. Okay, your lambs, your bulls, your bullocks, and all that. That's your livelihood. So it's gonna cost you something. Okay, and if she be not able to bring a lamb, what else can she do?
then she shall bring 2 turtles
Uh-huh.
or 2 young pigeons
Yep.
for one of the burnt offering, and the other for sin offering.
Uh-huh.
And the priest shall make an atonement for her,
And what?
and she shall be clean.
And she shall be clean. That's how they did it back then. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's go to Numbers. Let's go ahead and go to Numbers 5. Let's go one book up. Let's go to Numbers 5. You guys still with me?
Mhm.
All right, let's keep it moving. Numbers 5.
Excuse me.
Numbers 5. I want to read verse 2, and then we're going to skip. Numbers 5, verse 2, and then we're going to skip. And brother, when you get there, feel free to let the Bible speak.
Command the children of Israel
Yes, sir.
that they put out a camp every leper,
Yes, sir.
and everyone that hath an issue,
Uh-huh.
and whosoever is defiled by the dead.
Okay, now look at what he says, okay? Command the children of Israel that they put out of the camp every leper. Okay, just like when we get to the ranch or whatever, if somebody's sick and contagious, they need to be quarantined.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They need to get out of the living space where everybody else is living and assembling. We need to have a space set aside for someone if they're contagious, okay? Okay, so that's a leper and everyone that has an issue, okay, some sort of bodily discharge or something, okay? And whosoever is defiled by the dead, if you touching the dead, okay? Touching the dead makes you unclean.
Yep.
Okay, you can't touch a dead body. It makes you unclean. You got to cleanse yourself, and you're dead until evening. So yes, if you're a mortician or someone who performs autopsies and all that stuff, you're unclean for the day, okay? You got to cleanse yourself, and the next day until evening, then you'll be clean again, okay? Go ahead, brother.
Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them.
Okay, now I'm sorry. Did we skip down to 12?
That's
Okay, yeah, okay. Skip down. I just need to say it so that people follow and they be like, where did he go? So we're in 5 and 12. Go ahead, brother. 5 and 12. Numbers 5, verse 12. Go ahead, brother.
Speak to the children of Israel.
Yes, sir.
And say unto them,
Mhm.
if any man's wife go aside
Mhm.
and commit a trespass against him,
Okay, now this is a woman. If she's committing a trespass against her husband, okay, go ahead. 13.
and a man lie with her carnally,
Okay, go ahead.
and it be hid from the eyes of her husband,
Okay, he doesn't know. So he suspect that she's cheating. She may have cheated. He didn't know. He's not sure. But go ahead, brother.
and be kept closed, and she be defiled.
Yep.
And there be no witnesses against her.
Right, nobody's seen it. Couldn't prove it. Go ahead.
Neither she be taken with the manner.
All right. Doesn't look like she was raped or nothing like that. No one knows. No one saw it, but the husband just kind of suspects it. Go ahead.
And the spirit of jealousy come upon him.
He's feeling jealous. Go ahead.
And he be jealous of his wife. And she be defiled.
Okay.
Or if the spirit of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be not defiled.
Right, whether she is defiled or whether she's not defiled. We don't know which one. He doesn't know. He's not sure. He's just suspicious of the fact. Y'all understand? Go ahead.
Then shall the man bring his wife unto the priest, and he shall bring her offering for her, the 10th part of an ephah of barley meal. He shall pour no oil upon it, nor put frankincense on it. For it is on the offering of jealousy.
Yes.
An offering of memorial, bringing iniquity of remembrance.
Okay, so he's basically they're trying to get to the bottom of it. Okay, this is the ritual that they go through. They're trying to get to the bottom of it. The husband want to make sure and say, man, I don't know if my wife cheated on me or not. I want to figure this out because something's suspicious. Okay, she got a lock on her phone. I can't check the text messages or nothing. She having these secret little phone calls. She can't explain where she is, where she's been a couple days, stuff like that. Something's wrong. Go ahead.
And the priest shall bring her near, and set her before the Lord. And the priest shall take a holy water in the earthen vessel.
Yes.
And in the dust and the floor of the tabernacle the priest shall take.
He's gonna do what?
And put it into the water.
Go ahead, brother.
And the priest shall set the woman before the Lord, and uncover the woman's head, and put the offering in memorial of her hands, which is the jealousy offering.
This is a jealousy offering. Go ahead.
And the priest shall have in his hand the bitter water that causeth the curse.
Go ahead. Now, this is going to cause the curse. Meaning, if she did, in fact, cheat, then the curse will fall upon her, and it's going to be basically shriveling up her womb. She can't have kids and stuff like that. And back then, having a kid to a woman was very important. Okay? Go ahead.
And the priest shall charge her by an oath, and say unto the woman, if no man have lain with thee, and if thou hast not gone aside to the uncleanness with another instead of thy husband.
Because cheating on your husband makes you unclean. Makes you unclean. That means the other guy defiled you. You defiled yourself by allowing it, okay? Go ahead.
Be thou free from his bitter water that causeth the curse.
Okay, a curse is going to be on you. If you cheated, this curse will be on you, okay? But go ahead.
But if thou hast gone aside to another instead of thy husband, and if thou be defiled, and some man have lain with thee beside thy husband.
Anybody besides your husband, go ahead.
Then the priest shall charge the woman with an oath of cursing. And the priest shall say unto the woman, the Lord make thee a curse and an oath among thy people. And then the Lord doth make thy right or to rot, and thy belly to swell.
Make thy thigh to rot and thy belly to swell. Continue.
And this water that causeth the curse shall go into thy vows to make thy belly swell, and thy to thy rot. And the woman shall say, Amen, Amen.
Okay, so she's got to repeat after the priest. She's got to take this oath here. Okay, they're trying to prove did she lay with someone or not. Go ahead, brother.
And the priest shall write these curses in a book, and she shall blot them out with the bitter water.
Go ahead.
And if she cause the woman to drink, and the bitter water that causeth the curse, and the water that causeth the curse shall enter into her and become bitter, then the priest shall take the jealousy offering out of the woman's hand, and shall wave the offering before the Lord, and offer it upon the altar.
Yes, sir.
And if the priest shall take a handful of the offering, even the memorial thereof, and burn it upon the altar, and afterward shall cause the woman to drink the water.
Go ahead.
And when he hath made her to drink the water, then it shall come to pass that if she be defiled and have done the trespass against her husband, that the water that causeth the curse shall be entered into her and become bitter. And her belly shall swell, and her thighs shall rot, and the woman shall be a curse among her people.
Yeah, it was bad news. Go ahead.
And if the woman be not defiled, but be clean, she shall be free, and shall conceive seed.
Right, so she will be able to conceive seed. She won't be cursed. She'll be fine. If she did not go aside and go lay with another man or let another man lay with her. Go ahead.
And this is the law of jealousy.
So this is a law as well, isn't it? It says this is the law of jealousies. Go ahead.
When a wife go aside to another instead of her husband and is defiled.
Yeah, she is not to do that. It's really the bottom line. She is not to do that. She stays with her husband. Let's finish that. Go ahead, brother.
Or when the spirit of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous over his wife, and shall set a woman before the Lord, and the priest shall execute upon her all this law.
All of this law. That's okay. And then Okay, go finish 31. There's only one more verse, so go ahead.
Then shall the man be guiltless from iniquity,
Mhm.
and his woman shall bear her iniquity.
Right. So, okay. So he's just making sure. Okay. She has nothing to worry about if she didn't go lay with someone else. Okay. She has nothing to worry about. Otherwise, if she did, then her wound will be shriveled up if she went and became physically and spiritually unclean. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go look at Luke 2. Yeah. Let's go to Luke 2. Luke chapter 2. Let's look and see what Joseph and Mary were doing at this time. Luke 2, and let's start at 15. Okay, Luke 2 and 15. Okay, we're talking about making ourselves clean, preparing ourselves before we go, to the tabernacle or to the temple. Okay, so we want to look at this real quick. Luke 2, pick it up at verse 15, brother.
And it came to pass, as the angels were gone away from them into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, Let us now go even unto Bethlehem, and see this thing which hath come to pass, which the Lord hath made known to us.
Yes.
And they came with a haste, and found Mary and Joseph, and the babe lying in the manger.
Okay, so we know what we're talking about. We know it's got Mary, Joseph, and the Messiah. Go ahead.
And when they had seen it, they made known abroad the saying of which was told to the concerning this child.
Go ahead.
And all they heard was wondered in those things which were told by them by the shepherds. But Mary kept all things and pondered them in her heart.
She kept thinking about that. Go ahead.
And the shepherd returned to the glorifying the praise for all the things that had heard the scene, and it was told unto them.
Go ahead.
And when the 8 days were accomplished for the circumcising of the child.
Wait. They still were doing that?
Yep.
So the Messiah got that. Okay. All right, no problem.
But that's Old Testament.
When the 8 days were accomplished for the circumcising of the child. Go ahead.
His name was called Jesus.
And this is New Testament, isn't it?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Which was so named of the angel before he was conceived in the womb.
Okay, let's see what happened in verse 22. Go ahead.
And when the days of her purification according to the law of Moses were accomplished, law of Moses were accomplished, they brought him to Jerusalem.
So when the days of her purification, so Mary was still doing the whole purification thing. Interesting. That's very interesting that she was doing according to the law of who? According to the law of Moses. That's what we were, right? We've been in the law of Moses for over a half hour now.
They ain't gonna like Luke 2.
So, and when the days of her purification, according to the law of Moses, were accomplished, they brought him to Jerusalem to present him to the Lord. So they kept everything in order. They still had him circumcised on the 8th day. They still purified themselves before they came to present themselves. Okay? All still good. New Testament. Okay? Let's go back to Numbers real quick. All right? We are aware of, Passover and... but we still got to do this thing right because we got Passover coming up. So I want to look at something real quick.
10:4.
Go to number 9. Numbers 9. Okay? Numbers 9. All right. Numbers 9. Let's look at this. So we do got Passover coming up, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on Passover, but I want to point something out real quick. Numbers 9. Pick it up at verse 1, brother.
And the Lord spake unto Moses in the month of the 2nd year, after they were come out of the land of Egypt.
Okay, so it's in the first month of the 2nd year, after they came out of the land of Egypt, saying what, brother?
Let the children of Israel also keep the Passover at his appointed season.
Okay, so we are appointed to keep the Passover when it is time. Go ahead.
In the 14th day of this month, at even, ye shall keep it in his appointed season, according to all the rites of it, and according to all the ceremonies thereof, shall ye keep it.
Yes.
And Moses spake unto the children of Israel, that they should keep the Passover.
Okay, so he said, look, guys, the Lord said we need to keep the Passover. Go ahead.
And they kept the Passover on the 14th day of the first month, at even in the wilderness of Sinai, according to all the Lord commanded Moses, so did the children of Israel.
Go ahead, brother.
And there were certain men who were defiled by the dead body of the man, that they could not keep the Passover on that day. And they came before Moses and before Aaron, on that day.
Okay, so something happened. They could not keep the Passover. We're reading verse 6. And there were certain men who were defiled by the dead body of a man. So they had to handle somebody. They probably had to bury someone dead or whatever. So they were defiled. Okay? So they want to do this right. They're trying to do this right. They're like, hey, Moses. They're being honest. Hey, Moses, we handled a dead body, but we still want to keep the Passover. You know, what should we do? Go ahead, brother.
And those men said unto him, we are defiled by the dead body of a man. Wherefore we are kept back, that we may not offer an offering of the Lord in his appointed season among the children of Israel.
Right, so that's a question. He's basically want to know, man, what do we do? Because we want to do this Passover, but we can't do it. We're kept back from doing that. Okay, go ahead, brother.
And Moses said unto them, stand still, and I will hear what the Lord will command concerning you.
He said, just stay right there. Stay right there. I'm going to go pray to the Lord. I'm going to find out what the Lord wants us to do about this. See, that's a man of God. Okay, go ahead.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak to the children of Israel, saying, if any man of you or of your posterity shall be unclean by reason of the dead body, or be in a journey afar off.
Okay, if you're far away on a trip, you couldn't do it. You either handled the dead body, you were far away. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, he shall keep the Passover unto the Lord.
Now, what should he? 11 is going to answer the question. Okay, 11 answers the question. Go ahead, brother.
The 14th day of the second month.
Of the second month, okay? So a month later, you can keep the Passover, the 14th day. See, because the Passover is the 14th day of the first month. Now, he said the 14th day of the second month. Go ahead, brother. At even.
At even they shall keep it and eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
They shall leave none unto it, the morning nor break the bone of it. According to the ordinances of the Passover, they shall keep it.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
But the man that is clean,
he's clean.
And not in a journey, and forbeareth to keep the Passover.
Okay, so a man who's clean, he can touch a dead body. He don't have an issue with the blood. He's fine. He's fine. But the guy, he's clean and is not in a journey. He's not away on a trip. He's not far away. And forbear, you don't do it. To keep the Passover, go ahead.
Even the same soul shall be cut off from among his people.
That's right. Go ahead.
Because he brought not an offering of the Lord to his appointed season, that the man shall bear his sin.
He shall bear in his sin. Now let's deal with people who are not Israelites. Go ahead.
If a stranger shall join among you, and will keep the Passover unto the Lord, according to the ordinance of the Passover, and according to the matter thereof, so shall he do.
Yes.
He shall have one ordinance both for strangers and for him that was born in the land.
So we supposed to do it, right? Israelite or non-Israelite. Same thing. Okay? Israelite or non-Israelite. It does not matter. Okay? So let's move on. Let's go Numbers 19. Okay? We're talking about dead bodies and stuff. Let's go to Numbers 19. Chapter 19. Same book, chapter 19. And when we get to 19, I'm looking for verse 4. Okay? Chapter 19, verse 4, and then we'll skip to 16. Go ahead, brother.
And Eleazar the priest shall take of her blood with his finger, and sprinkle of her blood directly before the tabernacle of the congregation 7 times.
Go to 16, brother.
And whosoever toucheth one that is slain with a sword in the open fields, or a dead body, or a bone of a man, or a grave, shall be unclean 7 days.
So you handling dead bodies, you're unclean for 7 days. Okay, this is just what thus says the Lord. That's what makes you unclean. Okay, so let's look at Leviticus 21. Let's take a look at that. Leviticus 21. Okay, Leviticus 21. And let's look at verse 1. Leviticus 21 and verse 1.
And the Lord said unto Moses,
Yes, sir.
speaking to them the priests of sons of Aaron, and saying unto them, there shall be none defiled for the dead among his people.
Yep.
But for his kin that is near unto him, that is for his mother, and for his father, and for his son, and for his daughter, and for his brother, and for his sister, a virgin, that is nigh unto him, which have had no husband, for her may he be defiled.
Yes, so that's where he can be defiled. But go ahead.
But she shall not defile himself.
Yes. But he shall not defile himself, what?
Being a chief man among his people, to profane himself.
He shall not do that. Okay, now let's look at something real quick over in Numbers 6. Let's take a look at the Nazarenes, okay? Let's look at the Nazarites.
Number 6.
Numbers chapter 6. Okay. Numbers chapter 6. So let's look at something real quick. We're going to start wrapping it up. Numbers chapter 6, and we'll finish this last part, which is part 1. Go a couple of more places. Number 6. Number 6. Let's take a look at this. Okay. Number 6, and start reading at verse 1, brother.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and saying to them, When either man or woman shall separate themselves to a vow of the Nazarite, and separate themselves unto the Lord.
Okay, now you're going an extra step, because anybody can just take the vow of the Nazarite, but it's serious business, okay? So you have got to clean yourself up and stay that way during the terms of the vow, because a vow can be 6 months, 1 year, 10 years, whatever, but you have got to be clean during that. So he's going to go ahead and give us what it takes to be a Nazarite, okay? This is where it's first mentioned right here, okay? So he says, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when either a man or a woman shall separate. See, a woman can be a Nazarite too. Okay? When either a man or a woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of a Nazarite, to separate themselves unto the Lord, what shall he do in verse 3, brother?
He shall separate himself from wine and strong drink.
Yep.
And shall drink no vinegar of wine.
Yep.
Or vinegar of strong drink.
Okay.
Neither shall he drink any liquor of grapes.
Yep.
Nor eat moist grapes or dry.
No raisins, no grapes, no grape juice, no wine, okay, no vinegar wine. There's all types of wine. No wine, no alcohol, none of that. This is the exact same vow Samson took. Exact same vow. What else, brother?
All the days of his separation shall he eat nothing that is made of vine tree.
Nothing off the vine. Nothing off the vine. Nothing made of vine tree. Go ahead.
Or from the kernels even to the husk.
Nothing from the kernels or even to the husk. Or anything that has kernel or has a husk, he can't eat that. Or she can't eat that. Okay? Period. He can't do that. You have corn, a corn husk, right? Can't eat that. All right? Go ahead.
All the days of the vow of his separation, there shall no razor come upon his head.
Cannot cut your hair. Cannot cut. You can't cut the ends. You can't clip. You cannot cut your head, the hair on your head. Go ahead.
Until the days be fulfilled.
Yes.
In which he separated himself unto the Lord.
Okay.
He shall be holy.
Yes.
And shall let the locks of his hair of his head grow.
Yeah, that locks thing, huh? That locks thing kind of. Yeah. So, yeah, that's another lesson with the whole lock. So, I'm gonna leave that alone. But we get the picture. We get in the picture. So, yeah, at the time of the separation, man or woman, okay, man or woman, anybody can take this Nazarite vow if they want to separate themselves. They want to go this extra step for whatever reason, but you got to follow the order though. Okay, no grapes, no vinegar wine, none of that. Okay, none of that. He cannot have that, and then you can't cut your hair. Okay, this is the same vow Paul was under in Acts, and they were accusing him of teaching against the law of Moses and everything. And they say, "Here, take this vow." And then when it was done, he shaved his head. He was finishing up his vow. Okay, he's proven, because that vow that he took is found in the Old Testament. So how could he be teaching against the Old Testament if he's doing something that's found in the Old Testament?
Thank you, brother.
So he can't be after the resurrection. Thank you very much. After the resurrection, okay, he went before James, because James was pretty much the chief guy in that area, and James said, "Look, we heard a lot of things about you." Talking about Paul, we heard a lot of things about you, and said that you're teaching against the law of Moses. So prove that all that they say is nothing, okay, by taking charge. We got 3 men that are taking a vow. Go ahead, be with them, okay, and shave your head, and they prove, because the vow was over. Shave your head, prove that, hey. Because so now when everybody see him, they're going to say, man, that dude was under the Nazarite vow. Okay, that's in the law of Moses. That's in Leviticus. So we're going to just leave him alone. Okay, he must not be teaching against the law of Moses if you're doing something found in the law of Moses. Okay, verse 6, brother, go ahead.
All the days that he separated himself unto the Lord, he shall come at no dead body.
You cannot even come at a dead. So even if you're under that vow, and
funeral.
a loved one dies, you can't go near him.
Nope.
You can't. And if that's going to bother you, then don't take this vow.
Exactly.
Okay? You can't do it. You can't do it, and you want to know why? That's how God feels about it, because He wrote it right there. Even think about it. Even on the vow, even that you took the vow, okay? He's telling you what the vow is, and then He said, all the days that He separated Himself unto the Lord, He shall come at no dead body. So it doesn't matter if your aunt, your cousin, brother, sister, I'm sorry, even your son or daughter. This is a vow. You got to keep it. Okay? I'm not saying go do it. That's on you. But if you do it, you got to keep it.
Yep.
Okay? If you do it, you got to keep it. So you cannot go unto a dead body. You can't do it. Okay? It's just all, separate yourself from dead bodies. Verse 7, brother, go ahead.
He shall not make himself unclean for his father or for his mother.
Look at that. Look at that. You see what I'm saying? You see that? I hope y'all see that. So you can't say, oh, Robert, you just... No, you see that? He shall not make himself unclean for his father. Go ahead.
Or for his mother, for his brother, or for his sister when they die. Because the consecration of his God is upon his head.
So is that something I'm making up? Or does the Bible say you can't go near them?
Nope.
If they die, that's it. You got to mourn them from afar. You cannot go near the dead body if you take the Nazarite vow. That's all I'm telling you. The Bible says that. I didn't just bring that out of the air. I didn't pull that from the ether somewhere. Okay? Go ahead, brother.
All the days of his separation he is holy unto the Lord.
All the days of his separation he is holy unto the Lord. Go ahead, brother.
And if any man die very suddenly by him, and he had defiled the head of his consecration, then he shall shave his head in the day of his cleansing. On the 7th day shall he shave it.
Okay, so he broke it. Now he needs to go ahead and shave it. Go ahead. He defiled himself. Go ahead.
And on the 8th day he shall bring 2 turtles or 2 young pigeons to the priest to the door of the tabernacle and of the congregation.
Go ahead, brother.
And the priest shall offer one for a sin offering and the other one for burnt offering, and make atonement for him for that is sin by the dead, and shall hallow his head that same day.
And shall hallow his head the same day. Go ahead, brother.
And he shall consecrate unto the Lord the days of his separation, and shall bring the lamb of the first year for a trespassing offering. But the days that were before shall be lost, because his separation was defiled.
Okay, so see, this is if he messes it up. See, he has to do this if he messes up, like if someone died suddenly. These are the things he has to do. If someone died suddenly and he, by mistake, dealt with a dead body near him, it start describing the things that he have to do if he messed up. Okay? And he said in 12, and he shall consecrate unto the Lord the days of his separation, and shall bring a lamb of the first year for a trespass offering. But remember, this is like currency to these people. Okay? When you have turtle doves and lambs and bullocks and goats and stuff, that came from you. Okay? Or you went and go bought it, but it still cost you something. Okay? But the days that were before shall be lost. So all that other stuff didn't matter because his separation was defiled. Man, I've been on this vow for like 6 months. Yeah. I've been on for 6 months and somebody died or, car accident or whatever. You're near a dead body or something. Okay, all that's lost, but you have to atone for that. Because it said suddenly, that's not your fault. Okay? But you have to do these things, okay? Because his separation was defiled. 13, brother.
And this is the law of the Nazarite. When the days of the separation are fulfilled, he shall be brought unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Now notice, because we teach the whole law, we teach the Torah law around here. So notice, it says that he should be brought unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. They didn't go walking in all willy-nilly, right? Okay? Thank you, brother. Okay, so that's what we're talking about right there. All right? So, we just dealt with the Nazarite law. Let's go to one more place and we are done. We're going to close out on Matthew 8. We're going to close out on Matthew 8, brother. And we are done for this part here.
And there always have to be the best of it.
The best and the first. Without spot, without blemish, right? So you can't go get your sickly one. You got your little sheep right there and it's all no, you can't offer that.
It's going to cost you.
Yeah, it's going to cost you.
It's going to cost you.
That's what we got to understand. It costs something. It costs you something. You can't
Matthew what?
The best. Matthew 8. Good point, brother. That's exactly. It's going to cost you. Both of y'all made a great point. Don't try to just slide by with the runt of the litter. No, you got to come with the
3 days.
Yeah.
Best.
So, okay. This we're going to finish up with this verse right here. Matthew 8, brother. And start at verse 1, brother.
When he was come down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him.
Now, we're talking about Mashiach, we're talking about the Messiah, we're talking about Christ. Jesus, he came down. When he came down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him. Go ahead.
And behold, there came a leper and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean.
Now, we know a leper is an unclean person. We know that.
Yep.
They're contagious, they're unclean. We know. Well, go ahead. Now, he said, if you will, he said, if it's up to you, I know you can make me clean, basically. Go ahead.
And Jesus put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will, be thou clean.
Yep.
And immediately his leprosy was
Now,
cleansed.
immediately his leprosy was cleansed, because brothers and sisters, there's a leprosy out there. At this time, there's a leprosy that where they had sores all over them. There was pus. That's the runniness of the issue. There was a smell to it. These lepers is highly contagious. That's why they had lepers outside the gates of the cities and stuff. Okay, that's why the lepers were begging. Okay, they had to beg for food. They were outside the gates and things like that. They wanted healing and deliverance, but that's why a lot of people didn't want to deal with lepers at the time. Okay, now there's a clean leprosy and a unclean leprosy. Now this one is an unclean leprosy, a contagious one with the sores and pus and all that. Or there's a leprosy that Miriam had when she got cursed and turned white. Okay, white leprous. Okay, so there's two different kinds there, but we wanted to deal with cleanliness, the physical and the spiritual. I hope you guys are starting to see that there is a spiritual significance. We have to make ourselves clean when we go before the Lord, okay? So with that, this has been part 1 of cleanliness, both physical and spiritual. And with that, until next time, search the scriptures, improve all things.